Welcome. We are your power hosts, Elizabeth Lise T.V. Ellison and Dr. Monica Hinton, presenting Home is Where the Biz Is, each week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for content that allows you to draw your own conclusions from the wisdoms and insights of successful entrepreneurs as they give you their life challenges and solutions that has brought them success, that have carried them into their gains from their pains, and how they shift from juggling, struggling, into managing, manifesting. Now to our show. So we have here for you today DC Stoy, a young entrepreneur that will never age because his young heart and his inspirations are going to live forever. Dr. Monica was introduced to him through Orange Line Poet, and they then did a show this past Saturday on iHeartradio where he read and did some of his poetry, and then they had some amazing discussion. And I was so excited that Monica and I were like, oh my word, we so got to introduce him to all the other entrepreneurs out there because he will give you inspiration. He has a poem called Pace, and I am not going to tell you about it because I don't want to spoil it. It's actual video poetry, and his artistic centered heart, his whole story in life about how he was involved in school with football and sports, and just has a heart for just anything artistic. And then after an injury, he kind of fell away from the sports, but then as he went into college, he was able to bring everything back together and then be able to just write a book and start a clothing line, and he's doing filmmaking, and it's just gone from one thing to the next, which if you also get his book, and DC, do you want to tell us about that?
Oh, yes. My book, The Insolvable Intrigue, an anthology of poetry and short stories. It's available on Amazon online, Target, Walmart, Barnes & Noble. Just Google it and it's there. So, yeah, it's available.
And then, Monica, you want to speak a little more about the way that the two of you connected on a spiritual way through your love for poetry?
Well, so I have always loved poetry. I even wrote some poetry as a younger person, and then life happened and I never really did anything with it. But I have always gone to poetry events and read poetry and just wanted to be in a situation where I could sponsor and bring about new poets. And when Power Me Up Talk 24/7 radio came along and there was this option for us to have music shows, I said, oh, I'm going to have poets on my music show because that's what I enjoy, poetry.
I love the way that yours is waiting to be discovered. So we get to have, explore all these artists that just are, we can bring them to the 250 million ears listening to iHeartRadio on a regular, so that this world needs so much more enjoyment. Mm-hmm. So, and then DC, what really though, as an entrepreneur, when did you actually realize you had an entrepreneurial spirit in a way that helped you put everything together?
I would say in 2021, especially, I knew that I love art. I knew that I loved being able to speak to people and talk about the internal and dealing with the heart and different stuff like that. But I never put it together in terms of like, okay, the entrepreneurial spirit, I have this, I can be able to do something with this. I see a future in this type of thing. I didn't know that, I'd say, until late into 2021, because my book came out. I was doing pretty well and people really gravitated to it and really enjoyed it, and have told me, obviously with regards to like how it's, it's helped them in their life and different type of stuff like that. And I figured like, like I could go somewhere with this, and not just as a business means, or not just as, monetarily, can actually help people in both sides, obviously monetarily and business means, or and emotionally. So yeah, I think I discovered that more towards the end of 2021 and going into 2022. I started really getting into fashion and that type of thing, because I figured, okay, if I have what it takes when it comes to emotional dealings with people, I can actually translate that into clothing and actually put that into an external form that isn't just internal, because then it could be worn. Then people can see like, oh, okay, see what the brand DC Story is about. And so that shifted from just the poetry book into a fashion and intangible sense too. And then I also had a blog in college. I was already writing a blog in college, which was about inspiration, essentially. So that kind of was another backbone, because like I said, I had an English degree at Loyola Marymount University with my Bachelor of Arts, and I loved it. I loved it, and I was definitely able to obviously make friends and talk to different people, but really see that, oh, okay, I have something here that I believe I've been shown just to be able to think and reason and logic and talk and speak and have conversation and listen and learn and grow. And from there, that's kind of been the background, the backbone and the concrete underbelly of the DC Stoy brand. So from there, it transitioned to the more entrepreneurial, like you were saying, where all these different tangible things, such as film, such as being able to write these poetry and stories and all sorts of things of that nature. I'd say in terms of the realization of it, I'm still realizing it. I don't think it's just like oh, I've got it all, like I am the entrepreneurial. I don't know. For me personally, I don't think that's was something for me. I'm still in the process. There's a lot of things going on that I have yet to discover. And there's a lot of things with that entrepreneurial spirit and whatever it is to be able to learn about. So I think I'm still in the process of learning that I have that spirit. And more people have told me that, oh, okay, you have that entrepreneurial spirit. But, it's self-realization. It has to be like, okay, I know this. And then you can own it. Then you can go for it in comparison to just having others tell you and you don't really know. You're just kind of in limbo, just trying to figure it out. So yeah, it's a learning process for me still.
So do you have a mantra or anything that you give yourself that you'd like to share?
Yeah. So the DC Stoy brand mantra really is the self-betterment for all generations, essentially. That is written on my blog, Stoy Inspiration, www.stoyinspiration.com. That's written on my blog. That's really a lot of what I am about. DC Stoy brand is about, because I truly think that no matter what generation, instead of categorizing and putting, okay, this generation is this way and no, I think that we're human beings, and I think with being human beings, you grow and you evolve and you learn. And it's not something that's just set in stone. Like I only have this train of thought because literally everybody else around me has this train of thought. No, I don't think that's the case. You can walk and chew bubble gum, So I think that was something that was like, I would say that would be the mantra in terms of inspiration, self-betterment for all generations. And just learn from each other and grow and love each other, essentially. That's basically the baseline of the mantra, I would say.
Right. And depending on where people are in their experiences in life is going to determine their perception and filters and resistances and acceptances. Right, Monica?
That's right. That's absolutely right. So it sounds like that your goals for your entrepreneurship, along with making money, would be and create a living for yourself,
right,
would really be that bit helping people, inspiring people, and really giving people just a little bit of a different way about thinking about life in their world around them. Am I pretty accurate with that?
Absolutely, definitely. With that sports background, there's often that time where it's like, if you don't have sports anymore, do you choose to still pursue it, or are you going to go a different route? I know many people that are in that area or in that frame of mind, and I was there too. So I understand. For me, I was blessed. I was able to have something to fall back on in terms of I had that creativity and that art before I had sports. If that makes sense. I was reading before I got into the sports background. I was, writing before that. So I was able to fall back upon something that I knew I actually had. I know many others that might not have that opportunity. So I'm very grateful. I'm very blessed. I'm very humbled to be in the position I am in this entrepreneurial endeavor. And because I know of situations and that are not that same way. So I think I can help everybody. That's the whole, I think, point with that. Because they could also say like, okay, I know I've been there. Like, I understand. It's like, what are the next moves? I thought I was going to be somewhere where I was, or I thought I was going to be somewhere where I, was projected to be, but this is not the reality I'm living in. And so how do I figure it out? And how do I still have that competition feeling? How do I still have that drive and that motivation and discipline, determination, everything all bottled, a smoothie and a blend of just all these things within you, So yeah, I would say definitely, you're absolutely spot on there. Yeah, definitely.
That's great. That's great. So the clothing line piece, as you listen to you speak about, okay, I was this and then I got this, and, your inspiration within yourself said, hey, what about this? The thing is not everybody says, oh, you know what? Let's just get on to that next.
Right.
Oh, I have too much to do.
Right.
Have you ever had a time where you thought to yourself, should I take this on? Or have you just been one of those people that just said, you know what? If I thunk it, I'm going to dunk it.
Right. I wish I was one of those people in option B. I wish I was one of those people. I question myself all the time. Sometimes I feel, it's a feeling, it's emotion. Sometimes it's like, am I doing the right thing? Am I where I need to be? Am I, X, Y, and Z? Because I think when COVID happened, that really shifted the dynamic and the perspective or paradigm on like where we are or where I am in life and like what I'm doing. And this is a whole other thing that we haven't faced since what, 100 in a century ago with the Spanish flu, right? So
Mm-hmm.
pretty much almost exactly that time period. So it was definitely strange times. And I had questioned myself, and I had definitely questioned like, what are you doing, DC? Like, what's going on here, But I think the blessing was that I was able to have people in my corner that were able to let me know that, you are somebody, like you are somebody. And not just out of just throwing out these ideas of these false whims that you're meant for success and meant for no, like I don't say false whims, but just giving you these nice things to say. No, it was actually I could tell like not only they meant it, but I started to realize it myself, like, you know what? I'm more than just an occupation, like the being I'm more than just that. Yes, it is important. I do think actions speak louder than words, but at the same time I do think that not just the occupation is the defining moment, because sometimes I think for me the passion and whatever it is, the skill of whatever the talent is the driving thing that can put the occupation label on, can put the work label on, which is great because obviously it's great when you find your passion and actually able to do that and not have to be in a certain kind of mode. But at the same time, I do, yeah, definitely question. But staying strong and staying the course and recognizing that this is my course. It's windy. It's a windy road for me. Some people, it is like it's just straight, like just a straight road, and it's like this is what I'm going to do, and I will do it. I wish, I, I wish I had that many times. I wish I had that many times because it seems just go for the gusto, go for what you are meant to do. But now I realize with this entrepreneurial, like you said, spirit, there's so many things that I have left to do that I have to do because I recognize that the purpose of why I'm here is bigger than just beyond my own immediate time period feelings on whatever the matter might be, if that makes sense. Because I think that's something that's crucial to one's life, and it's the satisfaction of feeling like, oh, I actually went for what I'm here for. And I know, and what's I think within you, something I know pulls at
Yeah.
somebody what's within you. It's just, do you have what it takes to actually, pursue it? Or do you have, obviously there's opportunity, there's survival, there's all sorts of elements. But I do think that we're creative individuals. And I think everybody is creative to an extent.
And one of the things that I want to share for our listeners is one of the pieces that Monica and I have built into our coaching is the fact that if you can find your passion, if you can find your course, as you said, and you're willing to take that winding road that somehow will lead you to enjoying get up every morning, enjoy bouncing out of bed, enjoy walking around with a smile on your face,
Absolutely.
even when you're going through hard times, being able, like you said, draw in the service to other people before the almighty dollar, because what you do, you would do whether you were getting paid or not. But you don't know what that is unless, like with you, you were fortunate enough at an early age to be able to grasp onto the fact that what you were doing gave you so much joy you weren't going to stop. Is that what I'm hearing?
Definitely. And we were talking a little bit about this earlier. There have been, for me, people that have passed a lot in my life as a result of a multitude of things. So being able to understand that and being able to recognize that, okay, I'm doing this not just for me, I think that speaks to the bigger picture. So even while being fortunate enough and being blessed enough and having the opportunities, you recognize that life is fleeting. So you got to make do with what you have, and you don't know how much time you have, the way I see it, for me at least. And I don't know, I don't know. But every time I see so-and-so, say at a funeral or laid out, it's like, for me, it's like recognition that, okay, I don't mean to sound dark, but that's going to be me someday. And I have to recognize what will be said about me, and make it so that I don't want to be that person that is all about them. No, it's about what they did for other people. Because if you can spark the mind, I remember Tupac Shakur said this, I think in the 90s in an interview sometime. He's one of my top 5 inspirational people. And he was saying, like, in terms of, can he be the mind that sparks someone later in the future to help X, Y, and Z, to help people, whether it's a social thing going on, whether it's, whatever it is, it's to help. And I think I want to carry on that mantra. I believe that. I think we're, as human beings, it's too important to not live that way. or it's too important to, it's important to live that way. It's too important to live that way. And you should not ignore that fact. Personally, I believe we should take it upon ourselves to actually care about each other, to actually love each other, to actually think beyond just my immediate road. It's like, no, sometimes roads intertwine. And sometimes, you're able to come into people that come to friendship or some sort of dealing with people that's like, whoa, okay, you're also interested in what I'm interested in. You're also this or that. Like, oh, I get a new perspective when I listen to you. Oh, let me be quiet and listen to what you have to say because I'm learning from you. And then they vice versa. And then we create, obviously friendship and X, Y, and Z. So I think that's for me been a driving force. Yeah, I'm sorry if I didn't answer your question.
No, that was perfect because to spark the mind feeds other souls.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So how do you like working for yourself? What is that like for you?
I love it. I mean, for me personally, I've not been the type of person uh, to have a boss that's another person above me. I know that sounds stereotypical for most self-employed people. You hear that a lot, but I was just saying it's like, that's just not really been my cup of tea. I think I work better along the lines of when I put my mind to something that isn't led by the hand of someone else, if that makes sense, because it comes from within me with the self-employment. It comes from actually a sparking within me to actually get to where I'm going to reach these specific goals that I'm trying to reach to match this requirement that I'm supposed to match. And it's self-determination, not just a company's determination for me, which I might not even want to do really. I might just be there because I need X, Y, and Z, right? So that's why I was saying it's like, okay, from this end, yeah, it's a different road. And I just love it. To me, it's, set your own schedule and everything. I think it's yes, it's hard work, of course, but I think, like I said before, like anything that is easy, I don't think it's worth it. I think it is hard. If it's hard and if it's difficult, then you're searching for something, like you're mining for certain things, like you're trying to grasp something that is of value. So yeah, I love it.
I like pointing out not necessarily that it's hard, but definitely a good challenge. Like in sports, I want to be challenged to be better each time I go out on the field, throw that better spiral each time, catch that one that nobody thought you were going to be able to hold on to and keep running, because I played football a lot too. So
okay.
Yeah.
Wait, what position? Well, now, okay, I don't want to get off topic.
I played them all.
Okay. Okay.
We'll have to do it. As a matter of fact, I'm looking for a local football team for people my age, and I'm 64, so it's hard for me to find people who aren't afraid of breaking their hip. But
go for it. That's amazing. All the people
I still hop, skip, jump, run. Play on the trampolines with my grandkids, and so we will have a blast.
She runs up mountains and everything. She is probably the most physically fit 64-year-old that I know.
There's others that have me challenged. That's the other thing I like.
That I know.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
So, I had a question at the beginning. So 2021, how old were you? And how long had you been out of school? Were you still in college or?
I graduated in 2020. 2021, they were able to do commencement. So I was able to come back to school or come back to where I think they had it at the SoFi Arena in LA, where the LA Chargers play, and have commencement there. So it was neat being able to see people. So I was out of school for a little while. But yeah, in 2021 was when the book and everything got underway and those thoughts of entrepreneurship really emerged. And because COVID was still really raging still, I guess you would say, to an extent.
Good way of putting it.
Yeah, I don't know how to properly, because we all lived through that, so I don't know how to properly put it into terms. But yeah. So that was, it was. But I've been out of college for a little while because we had commencement in July. Yeah, and how old was I? I was 22 by around that time.
He's one of the world's COVID graduates.
Right.
That's right. That's how you would look at that. Yeah. That's going to be a thing later. It's going to be interesting, And I'm just so grateful that there's people your age out there still so inspired in spite of. So thank you for being you.
Thank you for having me.
So I'm sure Monica may have another question, but would you like to tell us what the amazing gift is that you're going to be giving our listeners?
Oh, yeah. Well, I would love to gift you guys with a signed copy of The Unsolvable Intrigue, an anthology of poetry and short stories. So yeah, that you guys would, I think you would love it. There's multiple sections in it. It's obviously I'm the author, so obviously I'm going to promote it as best I can. But but seriously, I do think you would love it because it came out of those COVID time periods. It came out of it emerged from that. So it'd be good to see a perspective from that, from the heart of that, from a 22, 23-year old, my take on different things. The book is not all about COVID, believe me, but it was just
Oh,
something that, right, it's just something that emerged during that time period through talks about, the past and the present and things that could relate to the future in it. So I think you would
Mhm.
definitely enjoy this signed copy of The Insoluble Intrigue, an anthology of poetry and short stories by yours truly. So,
Right. And how would they get that signed copy? What would they have to do?
well, I actually happen to, I can mail it out to whoever it might be. I'm available sometime in person in the California area, if you wanted to find out that way, but most likely mail it, and just learn about and just, oh yes, my email is DC Stoy, D period C period STOY 26 at gmail.com, and you can just email me there and just let me know that you would like, a signed copy and stuff like that. And I'll definitely be able to get that out to you guys. But don't forget that on Amazon, don't forget that on Amazon, it is available as well as Barnes and Noble and other places as well. So
right.
definitely excited for
But
that.
it won't be a signed copy.
Yeah, it won't be a.
It won't be a signed copy that way. But
So if someone wanted to Instagram you, how would
oh
they
yeah.
find you?
Okay, so it'd be at DC Stoy, D period C period STOY, or D without the period. You'll find my page and yeah, my profile and everything. And I happen to have a link tree in my profile, meaning it's a link you push on it and it shows up all my
All the,
links,
yeah.
Facebook, Amazon. You'll just be able to directly go to Amazon, all sorts of stuff. Even TikTok for all the TikTokers. Um,
Choppers.
yeah, so yeah, so yeah,
And so if they email you and
or
in the
DM
subject
me.
or
Yeah.
DM you but in the email they could put home is where the biz is, and then that way they would know they were going to get that special copy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You guys are amazing. So appreciate you guys. Seriously.
So I just have a couple of more questions. So two. First of all, are there difficulty being an entrepreneur? And what inspiration or what recommendations or thoughts that you might have for someone who's as young as you, or maybe even younger, who is interested in working for themselves?
Difficulty? Yes.
Or
Yes, there's
challenge.
difficulty. Challenge? Yes,
Challenges.
absolutely. There's challenge. Like I was saying before, with anything that is worth it, there will be challenge. There will be challenge. Of course, again, like I said, you're working for yourself. So your discipline and your organization and your scheduling and your time management is crucial and very important as somebody that is self-employed, because you're obviously self-employed. Um, But in terms, yeah, those are, I would definitely say, if you are not somebody who is open to a strict disciplinary action as a result of whatever it is you plan to do in your self-employment, well, first I would recommend a certain schedule with your self-employment. I would recommend that. Not everybody works the same way I do, but for me personally, that is something that helps. I'm able to, obviously schedule out different times, and as many people do, obviously you have a schedule and calendar, etc. But I would say the difficulties is definitely sometimes it's not feeling up to it. Sometimes you just don't feel up to it. Sometimes it's like you get doubt and, what am I doing? What if nobody is really interested in what I'm into and what I'm focused on, my goals and themes and stuff. But honestly, if I was to give some advice to answer your second question, with all those doubts and emergencies that can reign in one's mind, I would say combat those. I am a person that has a duality of pessimism and optimism, as most people are. So they're always going to clash. That's no matter if no matter if you're self-employed, working for yourself, or if you're working underneath somebody else, you're always going to have that clash. So first of all, be prepared for that and recognize that you will go through those moments. Don't fool yourself into believing that everything is just perfect 24/7, right? But at the same time, recognize that where you are is for a reason. What you are doing is for a reason. The purpose for where you are now is not just for just whatever later, because I think we often focus on what's in the future and am I doing well enough because later I have to do it. But it's like, no, enjoy yourself now. Enjoy where you are now. Be the best that you can be now, because the future is literally just past. It's 1 second already just passed as I'm speaking into the future. So is really, the present is called to me the present for a reason. It's a gift. So recognize that, okay, yes, I am dealing with certain things. And one of the things that I think has helped me personally is like, okay, if I speak out loud what it is that I am dealing with in terms of not feeling up to it or whatever, then that helps me because I said it. I put it out into the airway. I'm putting that reality of what it is that's there, with me mentally. It's like, okay, that's there. I already put. Some people, it works that they write things down, some things in different ways. But what I think the best way is to confront it head on, to be able to speak it and say and tell yourself the truth of, oh, I am dealing with this. So then you can work on a plan on how to not just evade it or tackle it straight on and say, no, I will overcome this. Or if you need to evade it for a certain amount of time, but oftentimes I wouldn't advise to run away from your fears. Personally, I don't think that's the best solution. So I wouldn't advise that, but I would say tackle them head on. I would say be a superhero in your own right.
There you go.
Be a superhero in your own right. And I don't mean it just obviously because superheroes are the thing right now, but really, like, be the best that you can be, and that's super. And I think that is true heroism. So yeah.
I agree. The spoken word is extremely powerful for creation, fueled by dedication and commitment and time blocking. It is something that all entrepreneurs need to have in their tool bag.
Definitely.
That's one of the things we teach in our course, Have You Met You, is time blocking is a huge part of it. Well, we look forward to seeing more of you. Monica, would you like to take us out?
Just want to say thank you to Mr. DC Stoy once again for joining us on our Home is Where the Biz Is. And the title of his show, Waiting to Be Discovered, was Emerging Renaissance Man. So I think we're going to keep that same name because I really like it.
Yes.
And
I like it too.
So just one more time, thank you. And we wish you well. And thank you for all of your pearls of wisdom with having such a young mind, because they will definitely be helpful to other young and generational entrepreneurs, not just the 20 and under year olds, but anyone listening to our show. Right?
Yes, because you need to, a lot of times, so I'm 64, being brought back into youth. That's why I keep the youth around me, is so that it helps me be inspired to maintain youthfulness. Well,
thank you for having me. I'm honored to even be on your show. I really appreciate you guys.
Thank you, DC.
You're welcome.
I'm blessed.
Okay, so that's the end of our show. So bye for now.
Bye for now.
Thanks for spending time with us. Listen to our show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific Time. Home is Where the Biz Is. And visit Two Sisters by Choice to find out how to become a guest on our show or book a coaching and consulting appointment for behavioral well-being. This has been a production of Two Sisters by Choice, LLC, and Raven International Media on Power Me Up Radio, Talk 24/7, the station with heart on iHeart.